Guys, today we are doing a riff on a Choy dish. And whereas he's known, of course, for his Asian influence, we're gonna bring it back home. And we're gonna put our own Cajun spin on it, okay? And the best part about it is we're doing it with leftovers. Leftover rice, some shrimp, a little bit of mayo and hot sauce. I can't wait for you to see this. Woo! With leftovers. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our rice. Again, this is all with leftovers, which is awesome. So this is leftover rice. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little soy sauce in there and just a little bit of sesame seed oil. I just want a little flavoring in there. And then there's our sesame seed oil. If you don't have this, no big deal. Just use, you can use like olive oil or anything like that. It'll be fine, right? And this stuff is pretty pungent, so I don't want a lot, but I still want to get that nutty flavor. So good. And then I'm just giving it a quick toss. Moving it around so that everything gets a little bit of that soy flavor. And then, like I said, we're going to do a riff on the Choy. And so we're going to make it more, I guess, Cajun style versus Asian, even though we're using soy. So we're going in with a little bit of our homemade gunpowder spice. It's kind of a mix of paprika and garlic and peppers and whatnot. So nothing that you can't make at home, but we'll show you how in another video. All right, our rice is ready. Let me grab my ring bowl. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is, there's a lot of creamy in this dish, so I want to give it a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to use a ring mold. If you don't have this, it's no big deal. You can put the rice directly in. It's just kind of a little thing I like to do because I like it to match. I need a small pan. It's already preheated. Going in with the oil. Moving it around a bit. And you can see it's already at a smoking point. So from here, I'm going to go right in with the rice. Boom! And I'm going in quick. I want to pack that down a little bit so it gives us a nice base for our dish. I'm just going to move it just a little bit so it doesn't stick and so it doesn't burn. And this is going to be real quick. It's, you know, it's a quick dish. Just give it a little spin. I can smell the nuttiness coming through from that sesame oil and the soy sauce. Very earthy, very umami, I guess, if you will. Anyway, I can see it sticking together really nicely. Keep moving it, and I'm taking it off the heat. I'm going in with the dish. I'm just gonna go for it. Put it on, flip it over. There we go. Easy as that. All right, so now as you can see, I didn't oil it, the ring, so I'm getting a little bit of stickiness, but that's no big deal, man. I just punch it down right there. What I do want to be careful of is that ring, because, well, it's hot. It's just on the fire, right? So I get him out of there. He can go back in the pan for now. And then what you have here is a nice little crust on the bottom of your rice. And you can let that go a little bit longer if you choose. The longer it goes, the crunchier it gets. That's perfectly fine. All right, I'm gonna set that aside for 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab another little bowl here. And now I'm gonna make a little bit of a topping. Back with our Kewpie mayo. If you don't have Kewpie, use Hellmann's or whatever you have around the house. Doesn't really matter. Ooh. But if you can find it, it is delicious. It makes a difference. Now, this is our homemade hot sauce. It has roasted tomatoes and peppers and all kinds of things in it. It's delicious. It took us quite a while to make it, but use Louisiana hot sauce, use Tapatio, use whatever you have, right? We just happen to have this here. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit. I don't wanna get crazy with the ratio because I still want it to be, you know, mayonnaise mainly, but I do want a little bit of that spice in there. Nice. Okay, there we go. spatula real quick. Handle's optional. That's what I have. That's what I use. So for this, I'm just going right over the top of my crunchy rice. Just like that. Or as they say in Louisiana, comme ça. Right there. A little bit more. And just filling in the gaps. Let me see. All right. And all I'm doing is layering the flavors. So far we have soy rice with a little bit of sesame seed oil, the mayo with some hot sauce, and a little bit of the gunpowder spice. From here, we have our musical item. From here, we have our leftover shrimp. Let me grab my knife. And I'm not going to do too many of these because the size of the dish is obviously not that big, but I'm going to just dice them a little bit. And oftentimes, you know, I really prefer to have whole shrimp if I can, but for this, being such a small dish, I want to have every bite, every forkful, have some shrimp on it, you know, versus some bites having it and some not. Anyway, so I'm going to do just a real quick chop on these guys. I'm not getting fancy with it. Again, this is leftover shrimp, so let's knock that out. Oh, and if I need more, I have more. From here, this is going right in, right on top. Pop, pop, pop. Just like that. All right, let me see this. I have one more thing to do outside of set my oven to broil, because we're just going to get a nice little crisp top on that. So I set my oven to broil, and from here I'm going to take a little bit of lemon, hit it with that, just a hint though at this point, and then from there I'm just going to wait for that broiler to come up to speed because, well, I forgot to put it on before. And as soon as it's ready, I'm gonna pop it in there, and like that, we'll be eating an awesome, awesome lunch. All right, I'll see you in like 2 minutes. Okay, so the broiler came up to temp. We're gonna walk it over, and we're going right in. Now, I'm putting it right up close to the top because basically what I'm looking for is not necessarily like a crunchy top, but I want that mayonnaise to kind of start bubbling up and browning, and that's going to give it an amazing flavor. And you have to keep a really close eye on it. And to give you kind of what you're looking for is, it's that moment where popcorn like stops popping and starts burning, and you get like 2 seconds to catch it before it goes to the other side. And so that's why we got to keep a really close eye on this. But I think I have time real quick to get my basil ready. And I plucked this right out of the garden. Beautiful, right? It is amazing. I love it. Basil's one of my faves. All right, so I'm gonna just grab a little bit of it here. And the easiest way to do that is a real quick chiffonade because I want just a little bit in it. I'm gonna take the leaves up. I'm gonna give them a quick roll, just like a cigar. And then just gonna keep popping it. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. Let me do this. Let me grab a spoon real quick. From here, it gets very simple. All I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take a little bit of that hot sauce. I'm gonna give it a little drizzle over. Just a little bit, that's all we need. I'm not looking to drown it, I'm not looking to blow it out with heat. A little sprinkle of the gunpowder spice, which sounds much hotter than it is. It's just a fun name that we gave it around here. Chomp Chomp Chewy. A little bit of green. Just a little pop of fresh herbs is gonna make all the difference, and it's really gonna help And then one more tiny little hit of lime, because that's going to help cut through the richness of that Kewpie mayo and brighten the whole dish up. Okay, well, I think we are about to get into it. So, let's see. What do you think? Does it look good enough to eat? Let's try it. All right. I want to make sure and get a little bit of everything down there. I want to get that rice, that mayo, you know, of course, the shrimp. Smells delicious. Ooh. Man, it's really crazy that you can take leftovers and make something as delicious as this. What makes the difference is that little bit of sesame seed oil against the spice, the brightness of the lime and the basil on top. You get that little bit of crunch from the shrimp, and then the crunch of the rice that we actually fried. It's so many different flavors and so many layers of flavors and textures. It's pretty awesome. If you have these leftovers, you gotta try this at home. I'm so excited to hear about you guys trying it, and send me your recipes. We love to hear from you, and subscribe, you know, so we can keep sharing awesome things like this. And I can't wait to see you in the next video.